from? Where are you going to? All booked for you, Ethel. See you soon.
Ethel.
Don't know where I got that name from, but...
Many people speak multiple languages, French, German, Italian, Spanish.
You're having downtime every week. I mean, I keep my hair short so you can't see the gray hair, but for years, I mean, I was going in the office on a weekly basis multiple times a night.
Yeah. No way you lose a grandma in a car. No, false.
Hi, welcome to Taxi Talk. I'm David Hunter and this is my beautiful colleague, Jodie.
Hi.
Hi, Jodie. Right, this week, a little bit different format. We often talk here, we've spoken about call centres and how they work and how there's still a need for actual phone calls.
Absolutely.
More than just an algorithm.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you find it, don't you, with your customers?
Yeah, I think, you know, I still don't think that automation is key, really. You know,
No,
I am a bit old school, and so are our customers as well.
And I actually think people buy people, and I think there'll be a kickback eventually when people get so tired.
I think that's already starting to happen, David, to be honest with you. People just want to ring up, have a familiar voice that knows them, knows their regular journeys, and, you know, a couple of seconds. Yeah, where's it going from? Where are you going to? All booked for you, Ethel. See you soon.
Ethel.
Don't know where I got that name from, but you know, like, but it is,
No
you know,
offence
especially the older generation. They're not into apps, and they're not into. They just want to speak to someone.
Do you know what? I think the whole thing will rebound because you're right. You know, you get sick of talking to AI or Alexas and Siri's, and actually to have a real voice in the phone.
I think it actually gives you a little bit of an edge as well now.
Because people like people.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
We bounce off each other.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I'm off now to a call centre to go and see exactly how they work.
Wow.
So hi, thank you ladies and gentlemen for joining me at Taxi Talk. We're live here from Belgrade in Serbia, and we're going to have a great meet-up now with Nancy and Carl Summers from America at Marold Communications to find out all about what they do here in Serbia. So we've come to Serbia because Serbia is home to many call centres due to the fact it's very close to the EU. It's neighbouring with places like Romania. However, it's not tied into all those silly EU rules, so it makes it a great place to do business in. Also, the Serbian people are highly educated, very multilingual, speaking obviously English, German, Russian, French, as well as their own native tongue. Hello and welcome to another edition of Taxi Talk. I'm David Hunter, and joining me today, we're here in Serbia. We have
Kyle Summers.
The great Carl Summers, and the lovely
Nancy Stankovich.
There you go. How do you say your surname?
Stankovich.
Stankovich. There we go. So we're here in Serbia, and the reason we're here is for two reasons. Carl, my friend here from the other side of the pond, runs a great taxi company in
Washington D.C. area.
Yeah, Washington D.C, the famous Washington D.C. But you also partner with the beautiful Nancy here, who runs a call centre.
Correct.
Excellent. So, how did the partnership first? How did you two actually meet each other?
Sure. So, I've used outsourced call centers. First, I started with my own in 2009, where we moved our agents across the U.S. In 2015, when I became an iCabbi customer, I started using a remote call center in Serbia, and then we added teams in Philippines, Pakistan, and in Belize. In 2019, we started having problems with some of our other call centers, and I came over to Serbia to meet with the Serbian team. I hadn't met with anybody yet, and while I was over here, got to know Nancy, who was in charge of our agents for the other call center, and she was really the best I'd ever seen. Yeah. And we weren't really happy with the way things were going here, so we decided just to open our own call center just for our company.
Playing by your rules and your methods, and
hiring the people we want, making sure they're paid well, and making sure that they were proficient.
You mentioned obviously Serbia, Philippines, and other areas.
Correct.
Did you sort of home in on Serbia because a better standard, or it was cheaper, or what was the reason for Serbia?
So the reason why was with the other call centers we used, it felt like the turnover was really high, and so we continually had to retrain for the exact same things.
So you're not
the very
getting
basic.
continuity.
Exactly. The other issue is we have very important accounts dealing with students with disabilities who are transported to school, and with the other call centers, all of our accounts would get very angry and refuse to speak with them. They would only speak with the Serbians. And so at that point, we thought, okay, well, we need to change the way we're doing things.
Yeah.
And
obviously, they've got something special in Serbia.
Yeah.
And what is that, Nancy? Why are people coming to Serbia as opposed to other competing countries?
Well, I'd say that the main reason for that is, first place, I definitely say the language. We start learning English very young, 3-4 years old. And everyone speaks at least English. Many people speak multiple languages, French, German, Italian, Spanish. So I'd say that's number one. And number two, when you train people to do stuff, you only need to explain things to them once. And I think that by far is the most important things for companies that come into us. It's just, we save a lot of time with that.
So how is it when you're training staff, somebody comes in for the first time, they've got to take calls for a market they've probably never been to, in your case Washington D.C, my case the UK. They're expected to know local information, pick up points, local culture, different expressions. Yes, you may have learned English, but we have a common language, but it sometimes feels different. We have different expressions. Sure. How do you take somebody straight out of college, they're new here, how do you train them to be an expert in Washington D.C. or whatever city you're?
Well, it's definitely a part of our training. We go through, first we start with all the important places like tourist traps and everything, like where a lot of people would go to. And most of the companies we work with, they use iCabbi system. And you can have the street view. You can find a lot of things while you're still on the call with customers. So it's very easy to navigate. They all use Google Maps. They use lots of point of interest for all the customers that are calling in. We can see exactly where they are. We can, we show people how to explain to drivers exactly where to go, where to be, where to sit. We can navigate between customers and drivers in order for them to meet, to find each other. So with the technology that's out there, it's quite easy to do that. Way easier than it used to be 10 years ago.
So you can, it's amazing. So you can be thousands of miles away, but almost feel like you're there. What benefit then has it brought your drivers, and how? Now that you're involved in NASA, you see how different taxi companies operate, whether it be Australia, UK, America. What's the difference for drivers? So obviously, we're talking to drivers now in the UK. If they were drivers in America, what's the main difference, do you think, to the American driver compared to a European one? And the second part of the question, what has this service brought to your business that puts you above your competitors?
Yeah, so I would say, so we answer calls for taxi cab fleets in Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, Canada, and the US. So, we have experience with multiple different fleets who operate differently. My background is I worked at iCabbi for 4 years and oversaw North America's growth. So I have a lot of experience visiting, a lot of different fleets. And I would say the taxi cab drivers in America compared to Europe they're just not as good. The quality of drivers that are in Europe are better. I would say they treat it more as a profession than the ones in the US. And that also goes, I would say, a lot of times in the US with Uber drivers. They don't treat it like a profession the way they do over in the UK or in mainland Europe.
Treat it as a part-time job just to get a bit of extra cash in.
Exactly. And so as a fleet operator, we are trying very hard to completely change that dynamics for that to understand that the way they act is going to have an effect on their income. So if they don't treat it professionally, then they're not going to be paid well.
It's interesting to hear that, isn't it? you always think, well, our drivers, they're treating it part-time, but yeah, the quality is different. But so you mentioned iCabbi.
Yep.
Now, some of the Carl's name will be familiar with a lot of people watching because you've helped so many cab companies across Europe, and you've been with. Was iCabbi really a game changer for you when you first started playing around with it?
For me, it was huge. So we used a dispatch system called Mobile Knowledge. I've been in the industry since 2007. 2013, Uber came to our market. Uber X did, and I was terrified. I realized that the technology we had was not allowing us to compete. So I started looking all over the world for a new solution, which is when I found iCabbi in January 2014. Had a demo with Gavin Walsh, the founder. At the end of the demo, I said, I'm ready to sign up. Let's do this. Horrible negotiation tactic, by the way, right? Like, I mean, we paid a premium compared to what's being paid elsewhere, but...
Yeah, you didn't help us in the UK, actually, because it became apparent to iCabbi, there's more money to be made in America, and then all of a sudden,
Which is funny you say that, because American customers would say that more attention is given to the UK than it is to the US.
Yeah.
But I thought Gavin would say yes. He said no. He rejected us. He said, no, we're not ready to come to America for 2-3 years. So I called my business partner and said, I'm going to Ireland to convince them to let us use iCabbi. We flew there 2 weeks later. We got in our suits, knocked on the door, and said, hey, we're here, we want it. And we promised to take it as is, so it wasn't, the dates were wrong. I mean, the dates were correct for the rest of the world, but they were wrong for America. Other features didn't work, but for us, it completely changed our trajectory.
Yeah. Something you were able to onboard drivers very quickly,
Exactly.
Expensive, unreliable.
We were having downtime every week. I mean, I keep my hair short so you can't see the gray hair, but for years, I mean, I was going in the office on a weekly basis multiple times a night.
Yeah.
And since I went live with iCabbi in 2014, we've had one 10-minute outage, which was in 2015. And since then, everything has worked perfectly.
Excellent. Now, Nancy, you don't have any grey hair. So, does that mean iCabbi has made your life less stressful?
Yes and no. Yes and no. No, it's I love the system. Like I said, we work with customers that use iCabbi, iCabbi only. It's just because I worked as a dispatcher, and I worked in a couple of different systems. iCabbi is definitely by far the best solution at the moment.
There's a soundbite right there, iCabbi, just crop that.
But yeah, it's definitely helping fleets, and it's making my life easier to just use one system.
Yeah. So with your experience of seeing fleets, for fleet operators out there, I'll ask you both this question. What makes a successful fleet compared to a so-so fleet? i.e., what are they doing better than a successful one compared to an average one? Is it customer care, driver care, or?
I'd say it's all together. If you drop the ball in one place, it's going to be a chain reaction. Like, you're going to see it throughout the entire operations. So I'd say that the best fleet operators that I had a chance to work with, they pay close attention to the way they treat their customers and their drivers. The best fleets are the ones that treat their drivers as their customers. So it's very important to have a lot of respect and to have good relationships with both customers, and when I say customers, I mean people plus the accounts, and everyone that's bringing the money from one side, and then on the other side, having a very good relationships with your drivers, because if you don't have drivers, you will not have customers. If you don't have customers, you will not have drivers.
It's all part of the whole ecosystem.
Exactly. So I'd say that a lot of respect is needed in order to run a successful company.
Yeah, agree. What about you, Carl?
So I completely agree with what she said, but to add to that, I think the fleets that I see that are thriving and are successful is they're innovating. They're not waiting for innovation to appear in front of them.
Agreed.
Yeah.
They're actually running towards innovation. So one of the things that was so important for me when I selected iCabbi in 2014 was open APIs. I wanted to be able to integrate to whatever I wanted without having to wait for a developer to do it.
Yeah.
And now I do some of that stuff my own, and it allows us to pivot and change the direction of our business without having to wait for somebody else to create that technology. And that to me is critical for anybody in this industry, that they should be looking how they can make their business run better and looking for innovation that's out there, or even creating it using APIs.
Yeah. You know, the dispatch system you can't blame the dispatch system for everything. You know, people blame the failing of their own business, or it would be so much better if the dispatch system did that, but you know.
It's true. I mean, look, we all want our dispatch system, whatever it is, to work better, right? We want it to have more features, but while we wait for the features we want, we should be looking for ways that we can still innovate and be better. Every software has bugs, regardless if it's Microsoft, iCabbi, or Oracle. So, you know, it's the nature of the business, and how you handle those issues and those bugs really sets you apart from the fleets who just sit there passively waiting.
Yeah. Now, many operators in the UK are always worried about Uber and other rival ride-hailing apps. You're still there in Washington D.C. I imagine Uber is everywhere there.
They are.
How do you survive that?
I mean, that's the third market that Uber went into, at Washington D.C. It's impacted us greatly, you know. So nighttime, the business is gone. You know, it's just not there like it used to be at the bars. We've had to find other businesses that we used to not go after. So we're doing non-emergency medical transportation. But what's interesting is Uber and Lyft are also struggling to find drivers. And a lot of times, they're more expensive than a taxi. So we're getting a lot of business coming back to us, to the airports, because we're less expensive. And it's a good position to be in.
Yeah. Now we're finding that exactly the same in the UK. Uber has become more expensive, and we're finding drivers migrating back to us. Obviously, need to get the balance between work, because it depends on the area. You know, if we're in the big city like Birmingham, then Uber has taken a lot of that sort of street work away, and we've had to look at other things like school contracts and so on. But then it's now swinging where drivers are coming back to us. We just got to wait for the customers, and that is through marketing, social media. I think, to be honest, if we were honest in the UK, we could probably do with a national brand that we could all plug into. Because Uber gets instant recognition in pop songs, as mentioned it.
Yeah.
It's become like you say, you Google something, you now Uber it, or you know. So we need to get that back in stock, because of course what we all do as a service is so much better than Uber. You know, we're there at the end of the phone. We can tailor make a journey. We can discuss pricing. You lose some lost property, then you know, there's somebody at the end of the call. I mean, what sort of calls do you get? Do you get calls like that? People, I've lost property, or what sort of discussions that take place with you guys that you think, well, Uber could never do that? And you think,
oh, there's a lot of those things. You mentioned lost property, of course. Every company every taxi company that exists, they must have lost and found, because people lose stuff all the time. And that's definitely one of the things. Then chargebacks. You know, people being overcharged, double charges, triple charges if the driver loses connection or anything like that. And then if you have an account, they want to have multiple stops. They want to know exactly how much it will cost to go from point A to point B, and then they want to make a decision if they want to go to point C or they want to bring the customer back. Yes, you can get an estimate on the Uber app, but it's definitely not the same. It's way different when you get to talk to people, because you will get all the answers right away and you don't have to think twice about it. So there's still a lot of advantage, especially for elderly that need help, that don't understand the technology and everything. And there's a lot of room for improvement, but I think that people are actually coming back to talking with people, to have a friendly voice on the other side, not just to use the app. I think
you're absolutely right there. We're getting quite fatigued now, I think, with not having human reaction and company. I mean, during COVID, we all got locked into our little rooms and with video calls and everything, and it was so nice to come and oh wow, people, real people, I can feel, I can touch them, I can smell them, and there is something, and of course you learn so much more just by those micro body language signals that you don't pick up on.
It's true.
And it's good. But in your time then, is there anything that still shocks you when, customers and things,
Well, yes, of course. Yes, of course. It's just people not being aware of where they are, or not being able to tell you when they need to be picked up, or some simple things that you don't even think about.
That morning walk of shame call,
yes.
The ride of pride, where they're waking up somewhere where they don't know where they are.
Yeah.
They need to go outside, check the number, on the building.
And they're kind of whispering because they want to get out there. Maybe the app has taken away some of that ride of pride or the walk of shame.
Probably. They can share the location and just book a cab, this way they have to actually go out, see where they are, explain to us how to find them. So there's still a lot of fun stuff.
Where do you see the trade in 10 years' time, with all this technology and, with driverless cars, etc.? Where do you think we'll all be sitting in 10 years from now?
Yeah, no, I don't see taxi cab companies going away. Driverless cars are coming. They work really well.
Can't do every job.
No, they cannot. True. And I think there's going to be some markets where they're much more difficult to be used than others.
Mm-hmm.
They're in Phoenix, a few other markets in the U.S. with very good weather and straight roads and easy to use. I'm excited for when those vehicles will be available for fleets like ours.
And also we're finding in the UK that kids aren't learning to drive anymore.
Really?
Also, the numbers have really dropped because they're used to this world where they press a button and everything comes instantly.
Oh.
Interesting.
So when I was young, we couldn't wait till it was our freedom. We can get out, we could go and party, we could meet a girl, or get out from our parents' aprons. Whereas now the kids are very much like that at home and Instagramming and things, but aren't learning to drive so much. And there's this concept of 15-minute cities where you've got everything you need within a 15-minute radius. So I think our service will only grow. It might morph into sort of mobility as everything and more bolt-ons and last-minute mile deliveries and so on. But I don't think our trades, we're just morphing into something bigger and better. And do you think there's all going to be a need for your call services?
Oh, yeah, I'm absolutely sure that they are trying to replace us using the AI and all the new technologies, but it's just, there's always going to be certain group of people that will refuse, number one, to use that, and number two, they will not fully understand how to use that, and it's just easier when you get to talk to someone. And we're just going to be here for those people that need to talk to someone.
There's nothing more frustrating, if you've got a problem with anything, having to press 1, 2, 3, and then
go in circles.
Go there, and you just, at the moment of crisis, or a crisis in your head, you want to speak to somebody that has empathy, that understands
Agreed.
you, and
100%.
can get it solved as quickly as possible.
Completely agree. And look, we are very pro on automating everything. Honestly, we would be happy if 100% of the calls were automated, but we also know that we need to be available whenever there's a problem. Whenever, like the moment something goes wrong, we have to be there. So we're always shooting to automate as much as possible.
Yeah, you want to, the real important stuff, is life or death. That is want to be real cool.
Yeah.
But everything else, the more trivial things, what time is my cab turning up, or that sort of thing.
We don't want those.
Of course,
exactly.
It's the driver on the way, or those things. Computer can do that, but other things, not really.
But also from the driver's point of view, because obviously you offer service to the driver, so the driver, we're not going to listen to them moaning about, I need a job there, I've not earned. But genuine concern of the driver, they're the calls you want to filter through, isn't it? And that's a USP for the driver over something like Uber, because they've got a real person. Like we always kind of imagine with ours that, when we're telling drivers, imagine you've got a car, and in your car you've got a HR person, you've got an accountant in your car, you've got a marketeer, these are all the people that you can physically meet in a proper private hire taxi company like ours, whereas Uber, all you've got is an algorithm. And our Catchline, we are more than an algorithm. So although that can enhance us, I still feel the human thing is element, and this is what you guys do so great here. And I'm really pleased that I got to know you guys whilst here in beautiful Serbia. Carl, I'm going to test you briefly before we go true or false. So you've been coming to Serbia for 10, and then I'm going to test you. So give me 5 things Serbia is famous for.
They are famous for their raspberries, the second largest exporter of raspberries in the world.
Wow. They do a lovely raspberry liqueur. We tried one last night.
The rakia, that's it smells wonderful.
Yeah.
When they were invaded by the Mongolians, they beat them, which to me blows my mind. I mean, nobody beat the Mongolians.
And that was just the females of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then once the men came, they gave up. Yeah.
And the third?
Third is they're phenomenal at basketball and in all sports. And honestly, I was
not football. No, not in football.
Well,
not tennis.
It's not. I mean, it's not a real sport. But the
not
real
for
sports,
Americans.
Soccer.
Yeah. No, they're tall.
Yeah.
They are some of the friendliest, loyalist people I have ever come across.
Very protective about the customer.
They are.
The country, aren't they?
And
if somebody tries to take it over or they don't like what's going on, they will go out there.
No, they won't give up
and bite you.
In fact, that's one of the reasons why we win here is
find you and then bite you.
Their tenacity with customer service.
Yeah.
So when they know that a booking needs to be serviced, they're not just going to wait for the system to find a driver, because as we all know as operators, there are some bookings a driver will never get. Maybe it's too far away, maybe it's a wheelchair van that has a special training attribute, and you sometimes have to, find a driver, right?
Yeah. Hi, and welcome to Taxi Talk. We got some very exciting news. Hold on just a minute, let's do that and they'll change it. We've got some very exciting news, yes. We've got a brand new website, www.taxi-talk.co.uk. That's www.taxi-talk.co.uk. And on that website, you can see all the episodes plus some exclusive behind the scenes footage. Yeah, it's really exciting. Plus, you can contact us. So if you'd like to be a guest on this humble little podcast, then go to the website www.taxi-talk.co.uk and get in touch. Thank you. Now back to the main feature.
When they know when they're the dispatcher, they are making sure the jobs get covered, and it has taken away so much stress from our operations.
Yeah, that's one thing I notice here as well. They tell it how it is. There's no bullshit. They're just on it. And will not give in until the job is done.
I love it. It's the opposite of Americans.
Yes, it is.
They don't need therapy either. Ever. Yeah. They're not going to see you for anything. So, I think we got up to 4 there, did we? One last 5. Something famous about Serbia.
Crap.
Have you got any that? Can I give me a clue?
Well, I know others. Okay.
We have the best tennis players in the world.
Okay.
You can
Okay. The word vampire comes from Serbia.
Correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Correct.
I always thought that was from a book written in Whitby by what's his name?
Bram Stoker.
Yeah. So he came from Whitby in Yorkshire.
Correct, yeah.
And then I think it was based on Transylvania, wasn't it?
It was, which where I lived.
The vampire.
Yeah.
But it's our word.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your teeth now. I'm going to do it this way. But no, that's great. So I'm not going to do 5 because everyone knows about America, don't they? So let's do 5 worst things about Americans.
Worst?
Yeah. But you can take it.
I better not be one of those 5.
You've met Kyle.
It doesn't count. He's almost European, to be fair. He's got
5 worst things about. Okay, so number 1 for me, people are way too sensitive for the way I carry myself. Everything is opposite from common sense. Like they don't use the metric system. They will use everything except normal values. Like this is for dryer machines wide, and this is 5 washers long. It's insane. So yeah, that's definitely something that bothers, like Fahrenheit, miles, everything is complete opposite from what the normal world does.
I know. That's right.
So that's 2, 3. Everything is bad for you, like all the food, all the drinks that you can get there. Like everything is basically poison. Half of the things not allowed in Europe, like banned because of the ingredients. It's definitely something that bothers me a lot.
Yeah. Just get it off your chest. Go on.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like,
This kind of reminds you of a Trump press conference. He's saying everything she believes is true, but it's not true.
You've got 2 more. Make them good. Make them good. 2 more to go. 10 years of Pennsylvania.
I don't know. Remind me of something that I hate when I'm there.
Americans are overly fake. Like, we don't tell you how we feel.
Yes, that's so
But we
bad.
get that from our British ancestors.
No, you do not.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, maybe not from them specifically, but yeah, that's very bad. That's terrible when you have to do business with people that are super fake. You have no idea if they mean well or not.
Yeah.
And you have to figure it out. Like, you have to observe everyone, like the way their face gestures, like everything. You have to be like on top of everything in order to catch if someone is just being fake or they actually mean that. So it's very difficult for business.
Yeah.
So, and
One more.
Just like
during this marriage guidance. So
one more.
I don't believe everyone in America is fake.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I cannot think of.
I think we'll end there at 4, to be honest.
4 is enough.
You will wake up in the middle of the night sitting up.
David, I got it. I got the 5th one.
Yeah, I'm right this way in. So well, that's great. Guys, big break. Before we go, we're going to play True or False. Right, so welcome back to True or False. So Carl, you're going to tell us a story, and Nancy, myself, and the whole room here will guess whether you're telling the truth or a falsehood.
Yeah, okay. So back during COVID, we had a driver driving home, and as he pulled into his parking lot, 2 guys stepped out behind a garbage truck with handguns and just lit the car up. He put the car in reverse and went and hit like another car behind him about, I'd say, 40 meters away, not 120 feet. They were still firing. He got out of the car and started running. Car was hit 25 times. He was hit 4 times, and he got away. Went into hiding, and we saw him again about 6 months later when he showed up to pay us his lease that he owed.
Oh, but you were so relieved you got your lease money.
Well, we actually didn't. We of course didn't take it, and he had left money in the car, and so we gave it to him. Yeah.
Wow, and you're pleased to use yards and meters, the right terminology there.
Wanted to make sure she understood.
Ah. Right, so we're going to guess whether that's true or false. I don't know, it's America. I think that happens every day, doesn't it? If it was happening here in Belgrade or back home in Birmingham, that would be like headline national news, but for you it's just a walk in the park.
Didn't even make the news.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with that's true. What do you think?
I'm going to go with that's true as well.
Okay, Chris, what do you think?
Just to be different, I'll go false.
False. True.
True.
False. Well, I think that's about even Stevens, isn't it? So, well, I think that's... go on then, put us out our misery.
It's true. I'll show you the video.
Go on, get us the video, we'll put it on.
We'll put a clip at
The
the end.
video will not be on the podcast, but if you want to see the video, I have it.
Get your popcorn ready, we'll watch that. So, Nancy, your turn. So, clearly you told a true story then. But,
Nothing shocking like that
Right.
from my side. So I'm taking calls, and the phone rings. I pick up the phone, and I hear a girl that sounds super scared, and she's basically panicking, and she says, I think that I lost something in one of your cabs. And I'm like, okay, go ahead. And she says, I lost my grandma.
No grandmother.
I'm like,
No way.
okay, where are you? Who picked you up? Where did they drop you off? And she gives me all the details. And I see that she was actually dropped off by one of the drivers. And I say, I'm gonna put you on a brief hold. I need to talk to my driver. I call the driver and I don't even know how to start the conversation. How do you ask that question? So I'm like, sorry, sir, I have a very weird question. Do you have an old lady in your car? Because I've been told that someone lost their grandma, and he's of course confused and says, no, I don't have anyone in my cab. And then I say, well, okay, can you just confirm that nobody's there? And then he turns around and he's in shock and he says, yes, there's an old lady sleeping in the back seat. So yeah, it was a happy ending. He dropped off the lady at the mall. The girl picked up her grandma, and that's how we closed our lost and found.
Right. That can't be true. That's false. You totally made that up. What do you reckon?
True.
You sound that confident. You obviously a lot of grandmothers being lost. Let's go to Chris.
I'm going to go with true.
True. Yeah, I'm gonna go with true as well.
Yep, definitely true.
No way you lose a grandma in the car. So no, false.
You'd be surprised.
Nothing on me.
Exactly. Marold, 100%.
Yeah, you do that first. Yeah. So, go on then, put us out of the misery. It's true.
It happened.
We've had shootings and missing grandparents in this podcast. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I realise it's a bit asked for you to watch the podcast, and ladies and gentlemen, we do appreciate. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Nancy, you're an absolute star. And thanks for your hospitality.
Thank you for coming.
Looking after me and feeding Chris and Liam as well. and again, same to you. I'll bring this over, and it's been an amazing experience, and always good to chat to you.
Yeah.
Go to Percy if you want to know anything iCabbi. And I wish you both well in your business here, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Taxi Talk. Given up. No. Anyway, we've got a great new competition. If all you have to do is like or subscribe, because it really is important to us to get the subscriptions up. So please do subscribe, and if you do, on December the 1st, just before Christmas, we will be giving away 20, 40, 60, 80, 100.
And the most.
200. You're not meant to speak, Steve. It's 200. 300. We're giving away £20, okay? £320. So please like, subscribe, and this money here on this desk plus this cigarette will be winging its way to you for Christmas and a Snickers bar. Whew, well, that was an experience.
I bet.
All those beautiful Serbian women.
I bet they must have been stunning.
Well, yes, they had nice personalities.
And I bet they were very professional.
Very professional, yes. No, it really was. It was mind-blowing, really.
I bet.
So on that bombshell, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this amongst your drivers, etc. And we do appreciate you watching. Until next time. You'll probably have Mercedes, BMW, BYD.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait.
The Professional Driver Car of the Year Judging Day.
Our car of the year, which we choose from the winner of the 6
Oh,
categories.
brilliant. Let's talk about first the Volvo.
Boot space, definitely not big enough. Drive was actually okay.
Yeah.
I mean, fairly responsive on the throttle.
Yep. The drive was lovely. The BYD.
Oh, the vehicle of choice out of everything today.
Wonderful setting as well today. Beautiful day for it.
Beautiful, weather-wise as well.